All right guys, welcome back to the channel. It is officially 2021, so this is the very start of the year. It's in the spring, it's about March right now. So yeah, today's video we're going to be going over my kayak review and setup. This is the Ascend 10T from Bass Pro. I've been running this kayak for about 4 years now. I'm setting it up to the way I like it. I got it just about perfect now, so I figured it'd be a good time to make a video about it. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright guys, so here it is. This is the Ascend 10T from Bass Pro. I got the pretty decent setup right here. It's 10 foot long, hence the 10T. Like I said, I've been using it for about 4 years. It has a little bit of rash to it, as you can see on the bottom. You know, it's a little bit of river rash, but it holds up pretty well. So this is the older model. As you can see, the new ones have better foot braces. This foot brace is nice and sloppy. It's not very good for bracing, but just in terms of comfortability, it's okay. But yeah, overall this kayak's really good. So we'll just start from the top here, and then we'll work our way back in terms of the setup. So one thing I noticed about this, I don't know if it's just a fault in my kayak or all of them, but this right here comes loose all the time. I've tried putting thread lock on it and everything, but it still always comes loose. So that's kind of a pain. But and then here I have my battery bag for my fish finder here. I have the Hook 3, I believe. This is all Yak Attack mounts, by the way. But yeah, it works out pretty well. But as you can see, I have all my cables hooked onto these clips right here. They're adhesive clips, just for cable management. I didn't want to drill in the hole of the kayak at all, so that's why I did it all on top. But yeah, these cords here, they run from the fish finder all the way down to the battery bag in here. I have my 12-volt battery in here, and then I have more adhesive clips running along the side all the way up to the transducer arm. So this is the Yak Attack Switchblade transducer arm. I absolutely love it. It works really well. The reason why I like it is because I can have it up like this, and then whenever I'm ready to use it, I can just flip it down like so, and then the transducer arm's ready to go. The transducer's in the water, and it's able to read the sonar. So that actually works out very, very well. But yeah, like I said, if I start getting in really shallow water, I can just flip this up, or if I hit shallow water, it'll automatically bump that up out of the way and not break the transducer off. So that's really nice. And what's cool about this is that they're meant to be trimmed down, so I haven't trimmed it at all. As you can see, you can like trim this off whenever you got it set right. I just left it. It's no big deal to me. Just in case if I decide to change to a different kayak, I still have it if I want it. So as you can see with the 10T, one of the biggest problems I've read is that it doesn't have in-hole storage. So as you see, there's no hatch like the 12T. The 12T, there's usually a hatch like right here that can get into the hull. But one cool tip that I'm going to share with you guys is that you actually can get into the hull of this kayak. So what you can do is this little dry storage right here. You can just actually open this up, and it has this little bag in here. If you just pull this bag out, it gets you down into the hull of the kayak right there. So if you ever want to try mounting something down in the bottom of the kayak, you can definitely do that. You can totally get inside the kayak right there and do what you need to do and run your cables through the kayak instead of on top. But I personally don't want to drill holes in my kayak, just, you know, like holes in water. I don't want to risk it. So but yeah, this bag does come out, and then like I said, you can just slide it back in, and then voila. So if you ever need to get into the hole of the kayak, that's where it is. All right, so that was my depth finder, my fish finder. That was a setup for that. So let's move on a little further back. So on the 10T, you have these hook tie downs too. So if you want to tie anything down on the front, you can totally do that. And then here I have the Yak Attack paddle holder. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it's a paddle holder. It gets the job done on the water. I would not recommend traveling with your kayak with your paddle in here. It's pretty sloppy, and I've had issues with my paddle actually falling out. This is not like an over-the-top clip, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it gets pretty sloppy. So yeah, there's that. And then here is the seat. What I really like about this seat, it has really good back support. So this is the older model seat. So the newer models actually has a taller backrest on it, and it has more cushion, but this gets the job done for sure. It is very breathable. As you can see, it's like a mesh material, so it's very breathable. You won't sweat too terribly bad, but during the summer it gets pretty humid here in Illinois, so it's pretty unavoidable. But nice little neck padding here on the chair. So the way the chair works, if this is good for like all heights. I'm 5'9", and I like to have the chair all the way back in the very last setting, and then I have my foot braces up here. I just think it's more comfortable to be further back in the kayak and have the whole front there. But yeah, as you can see, it has adjustable notches, so you can actually take this chair out and use it for other things like turkey hunting, if you want to be low on the ground or anything like that, or just chilling by the fire when you're out camping. It's a great chair for that, so it can come completely out. But if you want to be closer to the front, you can adjust these here and move the chair further up. So yeah, that's a pretty nice feature there. And then it also has adjustable, as you can see on this side, it is adjustable. So if you want to lean back further, I have it leaned back pretty far, as you can see, because I usually wear my life jacket, and then yeah, I don't want it super far forward with the life jacket, otherwise I'm gonna be hunched over. But all right, let's move on further back. Here on either side, we have 2 rod holders that come with the kayak. This is built into the kayak. And it also has this little leash clip here, so if you ever want to leash it, if you're scared of tipping over, that'll work really well as well. And then here we have my homemade DIY kayak milk crate. It's made out of wood. It has 6 rod holders on it, and as you can see, all of them are filled with my favorite rods. But yeah, I absolutely love this milk crate. So basically, I'll just give you a quick look at this. I already made another video on how I made this. So if you want to see exactly how I made this specifically for this kayak, I can leave that video linked at the very top of my description, and you guys can go check that out. So, but yeah, it's very nice. It has a lot of storage in here for my plano boxes. But yeah, that's what it looks like there. And then another cool thing that I did with this kayak that I'm really proud of is that on the very back we have this here. So this will stop the lid from opening up all the way. Here, let me show you actually. So whenever you open it up all the way and you're sitting in this chair here, you won't be able to reach it if it's folded all the way back down here. So what the stopper does is it just stops it and it keeps it from opening very, very far. So that's as wide as it will open. And then you can just reach behind you and be able to reach it still. So that's what I like about that. And then I have this here, so if I don't want to say anything in here without it rolling off, that'll be good for that too. So go ahead and latch this back up. All right, and then in the very back, we have the other handle. I haven't had any issues with this coming loose at all like the front, but it works really well. And then in the back, same thing, it has these tie downs here. So if you ever want to tie something down, you can always do that. And then here is the drain plug. So what I've come to find, if you leave this out in the rain, it's gonna fill up with water. So we went camping and this thing filled up with water because none of these screws on here at all, or like any of these, this screw here, these screws, they're not watertight. They really aren't. So if it's raining a whole bunch, you leave it out. What we found is that the inside of the hole was actually like soaking wet. So if this ever does fill up with water, if you store it outside, before you take it out, you'll just have to take this drain plug out and then drain the water out of it. So that's also another in-hole access as well if you ever want to mount something on the back. It's a really tight space, but if you just need to get in there real quick to see how it looks, it'll be really good for that as well. So all right, so next I'm just going to talk a little bit. So this is pretty much the end of the review, but I was going to talk a little bit about the kayak. So if you want to fast forward to the end, I actually have some footage at the end of this video of our first fishing trip this year, and you can see some of the fish we caught while using this kayak if you want to see it in action. But I was going to talk a little bit. So basically what I really like about this kayak, pros and cons, is I like these gear tracks. So these gear tracks are nice and long. They're probably about 12 inches, maybe 10 to 12 inches in length of these gear tracks. And there's one in the middle. That's why I have my fish finder hooked up to. It's just convenient to have it in the middle and not on the side, so I have room for casting and paddling. The gear tracks are really nice. It has plenty of options for tie downs for carrying it. And then this kayak isn't very heavy. I would say it's probably about, you know, like with nothing on it, just the chair, I would say it's probably about 70 to 80 pounds, which isn't too bad for a sit on top fishing kayak. So that's really nice. And then another question I get asked a lot whenever I'm using this kayak is, can you stand and fish on it? So my answer is kinda. You kinda can. So basically, I'm 5'9", about 140 pounds. So I can stand and fish in this pretty comfortably for the most part. But in terms of like when it's super windy out, if it's like a super calm day, I can stand in this comfortably and fish. But the issue I have found is whenever it's super windy, it's not very stable. Like I can do it, but I'm not like very confident and comfortable in it. I think it might just be something I need more practice with, but the padding on this floor, it gets really good traction whenever you're standing on it, so you don't have to worry about slipping. This comes with the kayak too, so that's also really nice. And the kayak also comes with these scupper plugs. So I usually keep the scupper plugs in because I'm usually not fishing rivers, I'm mostly fishing lakes. And I like to keep my deck nice and dry, mostly because since this chair is so low, your legs are usually laying on this for the most part. So unless you want like wet jeans or whatever, you can leave those scupper plugs out, but yeah. And then also one thing I forgot to mention, there is also nice little cubby spaces here. I usually keep my sunglasses over here, then maybe like some pliers over there, but yeah, it works out really, really well. Another thing I really like about this kayak is the length. So if you're somebody like me and you don't have a whole lot of like storage, usually like in my garage, like 10 foot is like the max that you're gonna be able to fit, like with it standing vertical. And like if you don't have enough storage, because I like to keep it dry, I like to keep it inside, keep it out of the elements. But yeah, if you like to if you have a lot of storage, then maybe the 12 would be a good option for you. But I just wanted this because it's small, it's easy to maneuver by myself. Storage is not a problem at all. The problem I found with the 12 foot is it was gonna be too big for storage for me. I wasn't gonna be able to fit it in my garage, and it was just gonna take up way too much space. So that's why I went with the 10T. But the 12T will have like in-hole storage. You can put your rods in there, stuff like that. So that's the advantage of the 12T over the 10T. But yeah, this kayak's really nice. You can look up all the dimensions and stuff on the width and everything on their website, I'm sure. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but it's definitely not super wide, but it's definitely wide enough where it's very stable. I've never had any fear of tipping this. Like I said, I've been using it for 4 years now. I've never had a instance where I was like, oh man, I'm definitely gonna tip this. But yeah, it works out really well. So this is definitely, I would say, like a beginner, maybe intermediate kayak. It's the reason why I got this is because I wanted to get off the bank. Okay, I wanted to get onto the water, get off the bank, fish some new places that is not accessible by bank. So that's why I went with the kayak, because it was a cheap option. This is probably like I don't know, like $600, $700 whenever I first got it. I'm sure they've probably gone up in prices by now, but it was a really good deal for me. It wasn't super expensive like a bass boat, and I didn't have to have a trailer or anything or a boating license. It was super easy, super convenient, and it got me off the bank onto the water to help me explore new areas and catch fish. So I really, truly appreciate this kayak and everything that the Ascend 10T has done for me, and it has actually helped me start this YouTube channel. So yeah, it works out really well. All right guys, so that's gonna wrap it up for the review. So if you stuck around to the end, we actually recorded our first fishing trip last weekend. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and play those clips now. We didn't catch a whole lot of fish because the water's still really cold here in the Midwest. So yeah, without further ado, enjoy these clips. Thank you for watching. Hey, the water's actually high enough we can fish over here. It's a good one. Oh God. Get in here. Oh dude, yeah. That's what we like to see. Yeah, man. All right guys, first fish of one. Man, he choked the Googan Baits lunker log. What an absolute tank. I just caught him like in the middle. All right guys, old 4 pounder, 4.5. Gonna get a release on him here. Absolute chunk. Look at that beautiful fish. Absolutely beautiful. Woo! There he goes. Man, he was slimy too. All right guys, Welcome back. First video of 2021. I didn't do an intro because wasn't sure if we are gonna catch anything. It's still pretty cold out here. It's beginning of March, and this week it's been like 70 degrees out, or not 70, it's been like 60 degrees outside. Right now it's about 54 degrees. Water temp's really cold. We've been fishing for like about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and that was the first fish either of us have caught. So man, that felt great. First fish of the year, and it was a big one too. Another fish, back-to-back cast. Woo! Not as big as the last one. All right, guys, there he is, probably like a 3-pounder. He's cold. Look at that tail. He's nice and chilly. It looks like that he's feeding a little bit though. He's got a little bit of a belly on him. Maybe almost pre-spawn. Maybe pre-spawn. But absolute toad. Beautiful fish. All right, guys, gonna get a release on them. Back-to-back cast. He gone. I got a fish here. Not a bad one. Kind of here on the Googan Baits Lunker log. We're at a new location today. Yesterday, as you can see, we didn't catch very many fish, but yeah, we're out here today, me and the girlfriend, so gotta cut this guy. Not bad. Did you get one? Did you get one? You got one. Finally, first fish of the year for you. Good job, Sabrina. Yeah. Good job, Sabrina. We'll be out here catching another one. There's Sabrina's fish, number 2.